Keep it going, keep it going.
Come on, make some noise.
Hey.
Hey, hey.
We here.
Welcome to Power, presenting opportunities where everyone rises. Let me hear you say it. What is power? Say it one more time together. Presenting. Clap it up for yourself on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Are you glad to be in the house? Aren't you glad to not be in the hospital or incapacitated? Aren't you just glad to see the person you're sitting next to? Won't you say, what's up? Good afternoon. I'm glad to see you. And then after you do that, put your hands together one more time for power.
Yeah.
I'm feeling better now. Can you tell? Thank you for all your phone calls and your concern. I'm back. Thank you, honey, for holding it down. Johnny Vaughn, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to need y'all to do a little bit better than that. I held it down last time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But the superstar's back. She's here. She's
come
back.
On now.
Let's put our hands together for our CEO, Pastor Chris Harris.
Yeah.
Oh, we can do better than that. Come on, let's thank him.
Woo.
Not just him, but we want to thank our sponsors, those that have fed us, those that have brought us here together every other Wednesday. I need you guys to put your hands together for the Joyce Foundation.
Yes.
Come on. Northwestern Medical.
Yeah.
Cigna. United Way of Illinois.
Yeah.
University of Chicago Medical.
Medicine, yes.
And BSCO.
Yeah.
Bright Star. Now, do me one favor before we move on. These people have served us today.
Wow.
All the staff of BSCO, can we put our hands together?
Yeah.
They probably got orange or blue on, so we want to thank them for what they have done.
Where else you going to work?
Yeah,
where else are you going to work to be able to take your afternoon to come into a facility free of charge, wonderful lunch, invaluable information every time we come together? We don't want to waste your time. And then we give you gift cards.
Did y'all enjoy the free steak? The steak?
Honey.
Oh, y'all didn't get, I'm sorry, that's for after, I'm sorry.
Before we go any further, can you take a look at your phone? Number one, make sure it's off. Make sure that the ringer is off so that we are not interrupted during programming. And then the second thing I want you to do is like and share this program. There are many people I'm sure you know that would love to be here. We want you to tell them about what's going on every second and fourth Wednesday so that they can be part of the conversation and in part of the collaboration. And then number three, once you've done that, turn and look at that camera back there of all of our Facebook and IG friends who are not in the building and clap it up for them. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you.
All right, let's give away our first gift card.
Oh, shucks.
Y'all
now.
ready? Y'all ready?
Oh, they not ready.
You know how I like to do it.
They not ready.
This is your first time here at Power. You can't work here though.
If this is your first time here, stand to your feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Clap it up for these 7 right here. Thank you. Now, who is the oldest? How old are you? 74. Who can be 74? Who can be 74?
No,
first time here.
Your first time here.
74? 74. I want you to go in that back corner right there and get your $25 gift card. Clap it up. Clap it up. First time here. First time here. Clap it up one more time. Every time we come together, what I say, we don't hate, and we celebrate. So clap it up for my mother over there.
All right. Where's Andy? We're going to do our first bingo.
Uh-oh.
I mean, our first power. Somebody say power. Let's do it. Come on. Let's put our hands together. We're going to give away some more money.
More money, more money, more money. They don't sound like they're too excited. Maybe.
I know. Maybe I'll keep this.
Maybe we keep it.
Yeah, let's keep it.
I wish we could keep it. All right, clap it up one more time. As Annie comes. Where's Yana? Come on, Yana. Did everybody get a power card? Raise your hand if you still need one. All right, we ready to roll out.
See some hands in the back? No?
Oh, thank you. So let me explain. There is numbers. There's a box with an X going through it. That should be number 9. So if it says 4 with an X, that's 49. If it's just the X, it's number 9. Something happened with my computer and did not want to print out the 9s. So if you see the X, that is a 9. So if I call out 29 in that leather, then put it there, please. So put a X on your free space right now, and Yana is going to pull the first number. Hello? Can someone fill out her card while she's gone so we can keep rolling? Go ahead. First card, first number is
E60. E60.
E60. Put an X on your number.
O28. O28. P10. P10. W33. W33. R67. R67. E52. E52. P6.
Is that power? We keep rolling. She don't have power. Sorry, false alarm. False alarm, false alarm.
R69. R69. W35.
We shaking them. We shaking them.
W35. E46.
Mama.
E46. O16. O16.
Get her, Joni.
32. W32. R75. R75.
We shaking.
W37. W37. O25. O25. O17. O17. P.O.W.E.R. P.O.W.E.R.
False alarm. Another false alarm.
O26. O26. O18.
Oh. All right now. Thank you.
Come on. Clap your hands. We're going to check you out, sis. We're going to check it out. Right. We must verify. Put your hands together one more time for power. We don't hate, we celebrate. We're going to come back right after this video. Stay tuned.
I'm excited to share with you an overview of what you'll learn as you view our videos about BSCO. Prior to the pandemic, the Urban Resilience Network pillars have focused on child and family services, mentoring, workforce development, advocacy, and trauma counseling. COVID-19 required us to shift our service delivery. Going forward, our attention is on TNT and CNC. Trauma will scale our work based on the Israeli model that has touched residents with trauma-related services. Training will harness our efforts to bring workforce development, resulting in livable wages to our community. Community conversation and collaboration will strengthen our current collaborative of 70+ community-based organizations. The focus of the collaborative is creating initiatives and mobilizing efforts to address workforce development, social determinants of health, housing, and education. In addition to these areas, the overall goal of the collaborative is to reduce the effects of trauma and violence in the greater Bronzeville community. Through the work of our collaborative, according to the University of Chicago research, our efforts have translated into a 14% reduction in robberies, a 10% drop in aggravated assaults, and a 17% drop in shootings in the specific catchment area that we serve. Your support of our work will further our outreach and allow us to serve more in the community. It is our hope that you will learn more about our ecosystem of care in our programmatic videos, and that you will partner with us as we endeavor to make meaningful change to the greater Bronzeville community and beyond.
When I went to Israel in December of 2012, I saw a place called Natal in Tel Aviv. And what blew me away was the fact that they had people in Israel that suffer from PTSD. But while they worry about missiles and sirens there, we're counting body bags and toe tags every single day in Chicago. So I decided I wanted to bring back to Bronzeville what I saw in Israel. One of the things that prompted this work is the fact that there's this vicious cycle of violence. And folks were asking, why does this happen? That's why we have to do the trauma counseling work.
So, we know that hurt people, and so we end up as advocates, we end up as wounded healers.
the reality of it is to ask for help is actually showing strength. It takes a strong person to ask for help, to need, to show that they need help.
We have so many people who really don't believe that there are certain resources that are available to them. And with the help and the partnership that we have with Northwestern Medicine, it's been able to really open their eyes to other resources that they can take advantage of to really empower them.
I shared with you, I'm a son of the soil of Bronzeville, raised up in the Dearborn homes, 2930 South Dearborn. So I work, worship, and witness in the place that I was born and raised. And that's really exciting. So when you think about Bright Star Community Outreach's turn model, it's 5 core competencies: counseling, mentorship, parenting, workforce development, and advocacy. With BSCO and Northwestern Medicine partnering, the one statement that I would make is game changer. Northwestern Medicine comes in to say, hey, listen, we want to be a part of the process of healing the community, helping the community become healthy. And one of the best ways they've done that is educating the community.
I am really happy to hear that you're absolutely reaching out to people and definitely doing something. That is amazing.
I've been born and raised in Bronzeville, and I can honestly say that organizations like Bright Star, I've seen change youth and entire communities.
Don't come and do it to us, come and do it with us. And that's what Northwestern Medicine has done.
All right, y'all got to make some noise up in here. Let me hear your power. Well, let me ask a question. Where is the best looking table in the room? Let me hear y'all. Okay, wait a minute. I want to make sure. Now, I want to be clear. The folks over here, they claim they were the best looking over here. And folks in the middle, they claim they're the best looking. By way of noise, where's the best looking table up in here? Come on. Give me some monitor, Joe, so I can know what I'm saying. I'm excited. And if you love power, presenting opportunities where everyone rise, make some noise. Come on. This is what I'm talking about. Now, everybody do me a favor. Take your phone out real quick and make sure if you're on Facebook, go to our Bright Star Community Outreach page. Make sure you like it, and then you share it on your page so that people that are in your sphere of influence will be able to be a part of what's going on. We got people that are watching us here on the scene, as well as literally more than 1,500 people watch us every session on the screen. Y'all go crazy for the folks that are watching online. Now, the camera may end up on you, so go ahead. This is your good opportunity to tell your family members, I'm on TV today. Tell them they got to tune in over here. And aren't y'all glad for our facilitators, John Vaughn, Joni Vaughn? Don't they rock the joint every single time? Now, you wouldn't see this, you wouldn't eat in here, you wouldn't get in here, you wouldn't be able to register without the folks that make me look smart all the time. Go crazy for the staff of Bright Star Community Outreach. I am so grateful. Today is a very special day and a very special power session. And I hope y'all zoom in this middle camera real quick. I want y'all to know the people who help us to bring this opportunity to you are in the house today. And I'm going to call their names. I want y'all to go crazy. The United Way is in the house. Make some noise. Northwestern Medicine is in the house today. University of Chicago Medicine is in the house today. Y'all go crazy for Josh, Kimberly, Posh, and Walida. Y'all make some noise. Now, this is really, really exciting today because these are the folks who helped to fund this work. Now, why is today's session so special? Because we would not be where we are and we would not be who we are without the folks and the organizations that they represent that are on this stage today. And they have been with us for literally almost 10 years now, helping Bright Star Community Outreach to be what we are and do what we do in the greater Bronzeville community. And I'm so excited. One more time, power. Make them feel welcome today. Come on. Now I'm ready to jump right in because I want to make sure that we spend today's time talking about not only these great organizations, but also who these individuals are. So I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves. They'll tell you their name and the organization that they represent and a little bit about themselves. Let's start right here. Clap it up for Walida. Walida, y'all clap for her.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Walida Tureau. I'm Community Relations Manager at UChicago Medicine within the Department of Urban Health Initiative. I'm excited to be here, and thank you for the invitation.
Y'all clap for everybody. Come on. You know that old school song, ooh, ladies first, right there. Y'all clap for Kimberly, everybody. Come on.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kimberly Gunther. I'm the Chief Impact Officer at United Way of Metro Chicago. And if you need to know anything about me, you can just talk to CJ, who knew me way back when I started 10 years ago at United Way. So super happy to be here with you.
Y'all clap it up for Miss Kim. Some of the coolest gentlemen in the world are here with us today. Y'all go crazy for Josh. Come on, make some noise for him.
Thank you, Pastor Harris. My name is Josh Hauser. I'm a palliative care physician at Northwestern. It's good to be in church because I missed synagogue on Friday night, so it's really good to be here, and I appreciate the warmth of all of you being here too, so thank you.
Clap it up for him one more time. And last but not least, he is truly my big brother from another mother. He has been with us from day one when I first literally started the work of bringing the towel here to Chicago and had this brilliant idea that has turned out to be quite fruitful. He was one of our first thought partners and has been on the board all this time. I'm talking about 10 years, a decade of dedication. Go crazy for Posh, everybody.
Good afternoon. My name is Posh Charles. I'm Senior Vice President of Administration for Northwestern Medicine. I had the pleasure of meeting Pastor Chris, 10 years ago on the steps of this church. And every time I walk into this building, it is an honor, a privilege, and I still get chills about what happens here, but now what is happening outside of these four walls. So thank you very much.
Y'all clap it up. Come on. So let me start with my big brother, Posh. Just talk to everybody about how the relationship began with BSCO.
Yeah, so just, on happenstance, 2 mayors ago, Mayor Rahm Emanuel introduced Pastor Harris to our then CEO and said, you got to meet this guy because he has a vision like nothing else. So we came and we met Pastor Harris in this room for lunch 10 plus years ago, and he started to share his vision about not just Bronzeville, but for all of Chicago, and this notion of trauma counseling and trauma awareness. And we left that meeting saying, we don't know what we're going to do together, but we have to do something together. And we talked about this term of first building scaffolding to where we can build scaffolding in the community to grow programming. So that's how it all started 10 years ago. And again, when you see what has happened, I know that sounds like an eternity, but all of you should be really, really proud what this man and this church has done for the community.
It means a whole lot to me, Posh. And the truth is, we could not have done it without folks like you and institutions like the folks that are representing these organizations on the stage. Back in the day, I wasn't using terms like social determinants of health. I wasn't saying anything about research and academia. And now we literally have become bilingual institutions and organizations. BSCO and folks in the hood, we know how to talk about data. We know how to talk about metrics. We know how to talk about palliative care. And now you all know how to talk about being able to serve the community in the way that we know how to serve our own community. One of the things that you did, Posh, that I love more than anything, you coined the term, before we can heal, we must listen. Why did you think it was important to not only say that, know that, but share with those other executives that importance?
Yeah, I think if you just look at any sector, but especially healthcare, across the country, we've missed the mark on how we've engaged with communities. It's always been, what are we going to do in this community, instead of saying, what does the community really need from us? And so we started to have those authentic conversations early on about we need to sit in the back seat. And I remember my colleagues at U of C Medicine, same thing. We have to let it be community-led, and how can we support this work? And so it was really important to we went through some rough times about that too, about how do we do that? How do we authentically do that? And again, I'm glad we went through the tough times to kind of get to where we are today.
It's pretty amazing. And so we needed fiscal management, especially, and I can honestly say as a faith leader running a faith institution, you got this whole separation of church and state. And we understand that that's important. However, the reality is, were it not for organizations like the United Way, I'll never forget, then President and CEO Dean Harrison said, Pastor Harris, have you ever heard of the United Way? I said, of course. He said, do you partner with them? I said, well, Dean, honestly, the United Way, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And so Dean said to me, well, I might know somebody. Turns out Dean was on the board of the United Way and helped us to, forge that relationship with them. And they were our fiscal managers. And the good news about it is they helped us to build up, as Posh would always say, scaffolding, build up our capacity. And Kim, I want to say I'm so grateful for all that you guys have done, becoming the training wheels until we are where we are today. And you guys trust us, you build us. What did you know and the organization know about the greater Bronzeville community before we started partnering together?
So that's a great question. And I just have to say back to you that you were our training wheels too. So when we started doing our place-based work through our Neighborhood Network Initiative 10 years ago, we really had no idea what we were doing at all. We too knew that there were too many people that thought about what was being done to communities. And I mean, my background is in academia, in social sciences, and I know there have been so many books written about this neighborhood, about Bronzeville, that have not reached the people that live here. They have not benefited the people that live here, and that needed to change. So really thinking about how do we help organizations like Bright Star bring your own visions to life, rooted in what the community values and believes, and all of your strengths, all of your relationships, in the same way that, United Way can sometimes be it's not what you know, it's who you know. That is true in community as well. The kind of power of relationships, the relationship that brought us here, I think 8 years ago, is the same power that exists in this community and that we just want to enhance. So when I think about, what we did before in Bronzeville, we funded organizations that were providing direct services, probably some organizations that folks know, but really what we wanted to do was say, here's a neighborhood that has incredibly rich history and an incredibly rich kind of shared identity that is being overlooked in the work that a lot of institutions are doing. So part of that was kind of how do we learn from each other, learn to fund coalitions, doing coalition work, where really, early on when we were looking, we were saying, we're not trying to fund a service, we just want to fund people talking to each other. And people looked at us like we were crazy, including the people we were funding. So, and we didn't really know what we were doing, like I said. So I'm so grateful to you, Pastor Harris, for the time that you and your team, everybody that has worked with us over the last 8 years, to say, hey, funders think they always know the answer, and you don't. And here's how we can do this better. And I'm so grateful for your partnership, and hope that everybody in Bronzeville, we're starting to see these incredible things coming to life. And now when I think about what United Way's role is now, it is to help bring the resources, is to help build the local capacity for you to realize your own visions.
It's pretty amazing. And, from day one, we were thinking about how to do it, and you guys helped us to do that and think it through. It gave us that trust factor. Now, let me just be honest. Bright Star Community Outreach having huge labels like Northwestern Medicine, University of Chicago Medicine, the United Way. It gave us credibility. And now we're singing, we got the whole neighborhood singing songs like, we shouldn't ask for dollars without data, we shouldn't ask for money without metrics, and we shouldn't try to expand without evaluation. We have to respect that there should be a return on investment, and you guys have helped us to do that. Now, you know, Walida, when we think about it, when we first had the Northwestern Medicine, I reached out to our friends over at the University of Chicago. Shout out to people like Brenda Battle and Leif. And then last but not least, he's retired now, Dean Polonsky. They came along and brought their teams to the table. Let me just ask you, what do you perceive as the value of the greater Bronzeville community? I always tell people I'm a son of the soil of greater Bronzeville. So talk about it from a personal and professional perspective.
Absolutely. It's easy to do. I wasn't born and raised in Bronzeville, but I am Chicago native, South Side girl. My daughter attends...
Hold on. Did y'all hear that? South Side. I just want to make sure. I know the West Side is in the building, but South Side.
My daughter attends school in Bronzeville. The history of Bronzeville is rich. The business community, the corridor along 47th Street. I probably do 50% of my local shopping in the area. So we realize that people make up our communities, right? The needs of the community are important to people that look like me and look like you and look like all of us within the U Chicago Medicine community and around the community. So we are wanting to be a good partner, a good neighbor. We realize that there are so many assets within the community. Even as an institution, we don't know it all. We want to come to you, learn from you, ask a lot of questions, of course, by way of survey. That's the only way we get those answers sometimes. And we know that that can be a little intimidating, but we really do listen from the surveys, our programming, from patient care, from partnering, from collaborations, and all of the ways that we really do try to improve as a system, right? We improve as a system because we're listening to you as a community.
I think it's amazing, and I don't know if I can say this and get at least 3 of y'all to clap, but the institutions that are on this stage, they have literally given us millions of dollars to do the work that we do in our community. I didn't say $100, I didn't say $1,000. Let me say it better, Power. Millions of dollars to do the work that we have done over these years. And it is amazing. And now we're talking about things that I had no clue about. Josh, talking about palliative care, right? First of all, did I pronounce it right? Number one.
You did great.
I did all right?
You did great.
And then secondly, what is that and why did you, Josh, say, I want to now partner with Bright Star Community Outreach in the greater Bronzeville area?
Thank you. And I apologize to Pastor Harris a little while ago. I double booked myself. Although I kind of consider it karma, the thing that I'm about to do in a few minutes is I'm involved in a teaching experience with colleagues from Ghana, New Zealand, England, Kenya, Australia, California, all over the place, teaching palliative care. And so I appreciate everybody's grace with watching me walk out. It's not because of the quality of the audience or the quality of the panel. And I want to say what palliative care is in just a moment. I want to answer your question. But I first want to thank my colleague, Erin Strong, who is here for the Mother's Day event.
Yeah.
Erin Strong is a surgeon and a palliative care doctor and an amazing person who's part of our team. I want to thank Joni. I want to thank Antoine. I want to thank Erin. I want to thank Pastor Harris. I want to thank many people involved in our project. And I want to highlight 3 things. Posh said one of them, listening. I'll say another, spirituality, and I'll say a third, service, which is what everybody on this panel and everybody in this audience thinks about every day. And to me, palliative care, which is the care of patients with serious illness, often alongside other types of care, chemotherapy, radiation therapy, advanced care for heart failure, represents all those things. It's an approach to care that cares for people's symptoms, how they're feeling. It attends to their dignity and their families, and it attends to their emotional and spiritual lives. And that's why I thrive and am so grateful to be able to do this work. A few years ago, actually more than a few years ago, actually 25 years ago, I was part of a focus group in Boston, Massachusetts, which is where I'm from. And we were talking to Black residents of Boston, Massachusetts and Latinx residents of Boston, Massachusetts about hospice and palliative care. And one of those residents said to me, he said, you know, it's really nice that you're coming to us talking about this awesome thing called hospice when you haven't given us health care for the previous 74 years of my life. Wow. So think about that. Okay? So the work that Bright Star is doing in every sector tries to address that. And I know I speak for Posh about how proud I am to be part of Northwestern and helping to support that. A few years ago, we got to meet Bright Star. I think it was Posh who introduced us. It might have been someone else. I have no idea. I don't remember. That's my issue. And we looked at ourselves and we said, how are we serving our communities? How are we serving Bronzeville? How are we serving the South Side? How are we serving the West Side? How are we, et cetera? And we said, we're not doing good enough. End of story. And so we developed this partnership, and I think I see some people in this room have been part of a focus group or two that we've had. I bet some of you have been part of street interviews that we've done. And now in our next phase of this project, we're going to be doing educational interventions. We're going to be here, we're going to be in the high schools, we're going to be wherever people want us to be, talking about palliative care, and more importantly, giving people access to palliative care, which isn't just hospice. It is not just hospice. Hospice is a part of palliative care and is a very important service, but palliative care is a broader term. It's about care for patients with serious illness, support for their families, attention to quality of life and dignity. So I couldn't be more touched to be part of this, and I'm really grateful for everyone being here, and I'm grateful, Pastor Harris, everybody on this panel for your work too. Thank you.
Now listen, let me say this before Dr. Josh has to leave out. All of you all that were at the Mother's Day breakfast, raise your hand, and we opened up with talking about palliative care. Let me tell you, this was one of the sponsors of your breakfast, so y'all go crazy. And as he's going, we also want to give a shout out. She was one of our guests, Dr. Erin Strong. She rocked the house that day, didn't she? So y'all clap as Josh gets up out of here. Good to see you, Josh. Don't miss your Uber. Now, let me just say this, and there's another person who is a member of our church, one of our board members. She's here today. I'm going to ask Dr. Ty Hughes. She'll come up and take this seat right here. But in the midst of that, she spoke on the panel on that day, and you guys learned a whole lot. Posh, what would you say? And I'll give this to each one of you. What would you say are some of the true and false, let's call them misconceptions, about your organization that the greater Bronzeville community may have?
Yeah, I think let's be really honest. I've been at Northwestern for 29 years now, and we're on the north side of Chicago. We're in downtown, and there's a perception that we don't care for anyone other than folks from the north side of Chicago. And in many ways, it's been true. But if you look at, for the last 10 years of where our patients come from, it's remarkable how many patients are coming to Northwestern from the south side of Chicago and the west side of Chicago. And, we looked at ourselves and said, how do we do better to bring that care closer to home for the residents of the south side? And so to think about how we can do what we're doing down the street to build an outpatient care center, but how we can also think about employment strategies, investment strategies in the community, and change that misperception of folks feeling like if anything is downtown, it's unattainable. It's not for me. Even how we treat patients who come to us downtown, to think about implicit bias, to think about all those things. So, again, working every single day to address those issues, but as Josh said, continuing to find ways just to do better.
Well, Lita, what would you say from University of Chicago perspective?
Similarly to what Posh mentioned, even though we are bordering the community and your neighbor, there have been some times when we've had to address some of the hard truths that, the service to the community has not been of the quality that the community deserves, that the way that we engage and or interact with the community is limiting, considering we are a neighbor. I will say that there is within the institution, within the system, there's so much work that's happening, so much good work, and so many dedicated professionals that, sometimes that 1 or 2 encounter or 10 or 15 encounters, we just want those to not outweigh the thousands of lives that are saved daily. People are really working hard, and they are not going into this profession just because. They really do care about people and saving lives and seeing healthcare outcomes get better. And so as a system, I just think that we have to do better talking, and listening, talking to each other, understanding the challenges on both sides, right? And then figuring out ways that we work together more collectively within the community and inside of the institution to get better.
I think that's pretty amazing. This is what it's all about. And so, Kim, from the United Way perspective, I think you ought to talk a little bit more about what the neighborhood networks are, because, it is really a true sense of giving the power back to the neighborhoods, which I think is just amazing. And let me just say kudos to CJ. CJ, are you in the room? Where's CJ? All right, where's she at? CJ, would you stand? Wait a minute. Listen, there she is. Y'all put the camera on CJ. Now, I need y'all to see who this is. So, the first day that we had the meeting with Northwestern, United Way, as well as the University of Chicago, sharing this vision about the Turn Center. And I got some good news for y'all before the show is over about the Turn Center. I came to them with this idea about trauma counseling through faith and community leaders. And CJ was in that meeting. She was one of the executives at the United Way. And can I tell you, from day one, 10 years ago, she came in as an executive, later on became a member of the church, and then she called herself retiring from the United Way. And I was like, hey, CJ, since you're retiring, can you come on and help me for about 2 months to continue this work? Well, 6 years later, she's still here. Y'all give it up for Miss CJ, who helped me build capacity. And I want to say thank you. But the United Way, you all made us a lead agency. So talk about not only the neighborhood networks, but the impact that you all hope to have.
Yeah, and I think what we realized 10 years ago, and I was just a manager then, so I've grown up at United Way in a lot of ways. But we realized that just by funding programs, we weren't having the long-term impact on people's lives that we wanted to have. We also realized that a lot of programs are designed by outsiders, people outside of a community, people that don't navigate your neighborhood day to day. And I will say, too, that just as an aside, I am the professional that I am today. I do the work that I do today because of my experience in Bronzeville. It is the only one of our 18 neighborhoods that I can say that. But in 2006, when I got a job, it's true.
That's amazing.
In 2006, I got a job, and I was at the Field Museum, and I was doing work at 41st and Lake Park.
Wow.
And it was the first time that I really became rooted in this community, and saw just the incredible people that live here and the many, many things that organizations were doing to them, and thought, there's so many amazing people with such amazing strengths to build on. And so, 5 years after that, 7 years after that, I guess, when I started at United Way, I was bringing that experience with me of what I learned here in Bronzeville. And so when we're thinking about this new initiative where we said programs aren't it, neighborhoods are it. Your neighborhood is where you live. Wow. It's where you feel at home. It's where your heart is and your home is and the people that you care about. And it should also be the place where you can go to a good school and go to a restaurant and go to a grocery store and get everything that you need and, more importantly, want. Because I think there are so many things that are saying, we know what's right for your neighborhood. I don't know what's right for your neighborhood. You do. Right. So, as we're building this initiative, kind of the impact that we wanted to see was not, and this is a neighborhood we know that has seen a lot of transition over the last 20 years. And a lot of people have been pushed out of this neighborhood in the last 20 years, and we don't want that. So the impact that we want is to help you create the neighborhood that you want to live in, that has everything that you want, and also through programs and support and jobs and all sorts of other things, that you can afford to stay in the neighborhood that you want and love. So really, like, at the end of the day, you know, I tell people sort of as a shortcut, like, what does United Way want to do? Like, we want to change the world.
Wow.
But we want to change it in a way that reflects what people already living in a community, in communities that have been ignored and hurt for a long time, to create the communities that you want to see and live in.
Wow,
That's the impact.
I thought you had already stole my heart, but you just did again. Y'all clap it up. That's what I'm talking about. Come on. She is a faithful member of Bright Star St. James. She's on the board of our Community Development Corporation, and she is a healthcare professional. Y'all go crazy for Dr. Ty Hughes today. Come on. Phil, push me a bit. Now listen, Dr. Ty, I want you to tell everybody a little bit about you and what you do, who all you lead, and then talk about why the faith institutions need to be involved in health work, right? Informing our community, and not just churches, but also the community needs to get involved in their own healthcare issues. So y'all clap one more time for Dr. Ty.
Hi, everyone. So, of course, I didn't know I was going to be here, so thank you for having me. I'm Dr. Ty Hughes Dillard. I am the Chief Nursing Officer over at UI Health. I've been there for about 7 years now. Previously worked at the University of Chicago for about 16 years there. So I have a little history there with when Michelle Obama was over the Urban League. So, and I know Leaf well. So great to have you here as well. When I think about why the churches or the faith base needs to be involved in healthcare, that's because that's where the community trusts. We trust our churches, we church our spiritual leaders, and you can't get to the community without getting there first. And so it's essential to have the spiritual, or I'll say the religious aspect of healthcare involved. We know that a lot of things have happened in our community that we felt that we've been done to instead of done with. And so now we have to be included in the decisions when it comes to our health care.
That's right.
So it's essential for us to start here, and we need to broaden out. Places of worship shouldn't just be for worship, it should be for education as well. And healthcare is a part of the education. How we become a better community is when we're a wiser community and when we know more.
And people like you, Dr. Ty, hold us accountable, right? Talking about the social determinants of health. And as you all know, our model, the TURN model is T&T, C&C. The first T is trauma, the second T is training, and then C&C is community conversation and collaboration around health, education, and housing. And you have about how many nurses that report up to you? How many folks?
So I have about 1,400 nurses who report up to me. I partner with our chief medical officer, and we kind of lead the care over there in UI Health. We want to make sure that they're getting honest care, care that they can trust, care that they can truly count on, and we want it to be quality care, because sometimes you can go some places and the care is not what you expect. Everyone didn't get an A in school, trust me, and so you can feel the effects of those who didn't. And so it's just essential that we're partnering to make sure that the care is top-notch for the community.
And we're currently doing a research project right now with UI Health. And the beautiful part is we have some of our leaders here at Bright Star Community Outreach, our outreach workers, who was doing a long COVID study. And it has been pretty amazing. And I want to show you all a bit. It's people like Dr. Ty and people like Posh and Walida and Kim who constantly hold people like me accountable. How do I use my influence and my platform to make sure that the community is not only whole and healthy, but also healed? And I think a lot of times, y'all, raise your hand if you agree with this, or clap your hands if you agree. A lot of us are always reactive and not proactive when it comes to our health.
We got to do better than that. So let me show you right now. Christian, I'm ready for that video. A little bit of the work that we have done around health. Kathy's video talking about all the work that we've done. Clap your hands for this video, everybody.
The COVID-19 pandemic has brought social and racial injustice and inequity to the forefront of public health. As a matter of fact, in response to the pandemic, BSCO established a functioning health department focused on social determinants of health. As we know, health equity is still not a reality, and as a result, COVID-19 continues to disproportionately affect Black and brown communities, putting them at more risk of getting sick and worse, dying. Residents may not trust their doctors, but they sure do trust their faith leaders. Therefore, Pastor Chris Harris partnered with Northwestern Medicine to create a health show called Clergy and Clinicians. As a trusted voice in the community, PCH, African American, and Latinx medical professionals have come together to address concerns in communities of color. With episode reaching over 100,000 views, residents are educated on issues such as COVID-19, heart disease, organ transplant, and mental health, as well as many other health disparity-related topics. BSCO and its collaborative partners have been committed to bringing free vaccines to our community, studying long-term effects of COVID-19, and helping to close Chicago's life expectancy gap. We have disseminated information that educated our residents while sharing facts and breaking down stigmas about the virus, variants, and vaccines. We were also able to provide free vaccinations to our residents, which helped keep them safe and alive. At the same time, it created a safe space for residents to come in and participate in peer support groups. These groups became a long-awaited beacon of light, where residents found hope and created a sense of community as they voiced their challenges, difficulties, and mental health frustrations during and post-COVID-19. With 15 community events, these specific efforts have resulted in a collaborative that achieved over 15,000 vaccines to the residents on the south side of Chicago, and 250 residents participating in a nationwide long COVID study that will help shape the way COVID effects are treated in underserved Black and brown communities and generate up to $800 more to their household income. Our team of individuals brave the streets of Greater Bronzeville daily in hand-to-hand marketing, gathering data through surveys, ensuring the voice of our community is reflected while we produce new health-focused programming. Doing things with the community and not to the community is the principle of our work. Very few community-based organizations can say that they have the privilege of partnering with globally respected medical institutions like Northwestern Medicine, UChicago Medicine, and now St. Bernard Hospital, providing mental health services to their staff. At BSCO, the health of our community is one of our highest priorities.
This is what I'm talking about. Now let me say this, Posh, you guys have done something just magnificent, right? We in partnership with so many others, including Bright Star Community Outreach. I don't even know. I think most of the people in here know, but just in case friends on the scene and those on the screen don't know, could you talk about what Northwestern has decided to do here in the Greater Bronzeville community?
Yeah, I think as a result of 10 years working with Pastor Chris and BSCO and hearing from a lot of folks of, I'd like to get my care at Northwestern, but I can't. Or I have to come to Northwestern, but it's expensive to park and get up to Streeterville. So after 10 years, we did 36 community meetings over the last 3 years. We are opening an outpatient care center at 4800 South Cottage Grove. And one of the things that Pastor helped with is we said we just can't build an outpatient care center. It has to be the best one in our health system. So what you're going to see at 4800 is 100,000 square feet plus with retail, free parking, unlike downtown, and all the services that the community demanded when we had those 30-some meetings. So everything from pediatrics to primary care to urgent care to cancer care. And I'm not a physician, and I'm Dr. Ty, I'm not a nurse, but what I'm most excited about is they gave us 8,000 square feet in that building for community space. So It's going to have a cooking kitchen. It's going to have space for the youth programs. It's going to have for job training. So we are going to have 8,000 square feet of common space for the community to use for meetings like this and for events like this. So we're really excited. We're going to break ground here in probably 4 weeks. And then that site will open in summer of 2025. So it's going to come out of the ground really fast.
Y'all go crazy for that. Come on now. Keep it there on the screen. Look at what's on the screen. Now, what I love about this facility, and this is one of the designs, what I love about this is not only will folks from the greater Bronzeville community be able to benefit from this, but also folks from the greater Bronzeville community are going to be able to build this. Y'all ought to be going crazy for that. Now Posh, you got to talk about the jobs.
Yeah, I think, early on, too, when we thought about not what's going to be offered inside the building, but how do we get to the building, we hired a local architect from Bronzeville who designed this building based on the architecture of Bronzeville.
Come on, y'all. Come on now. That's amazing.
So if you look at the thousands of design options, she went back and looked at every building here and said, how do we think about the curved edges, the artwork that can even go on the first floor, those kind of things. And what's great about her now is she's not going to just design this, but she's going to now design buildings for Northwestern all over and be part of that family.
You talk about homegrown success. That is what it's all about.
And I got to say, there's really one person who really held us accountable through every step of this, and that's this man right here. About what are you guys going to offer? How many community meetings are you doing? That's not enough. And thank you for being at some of those meetings. We took a lot of hard, difficult questions, but we've got a platform now that really is going to resemble the community, offer the community the services that they need, deserve, and should get really close to home. And even the retail space, where we're talking to the community now about what do you want in the retail space. So we're still working on that part of it, but we've got some great feedback from the community about what they'd like to see in that first floor space.
Y'all got to go crazy one more time for that. That's pretty amazing. Now, listen, we're getting ready to start landing the plane, but I want to just ask, Walida, University of Chicago has proven itself to be a real partner for us. Every single, from a funding perspective, it's been amazing. Northwestern, University of Chicago, United Way coming in, saying we're going to fund it, we're going to build your infrastructure. I told them from day one, hey, listen, we don't want to date, we want to be married. What has been two things?
I think I remember that.
What has been some of your fondest memories of partnership with BSCO, and what do you want everybody to know, those on the scene and those on the screen, to know about UFC's commitment to the community?
Sure. I'm glad you asked that question. So I've been in this role, been at the University of Chicago Medicine for 10 years. I've been in this role about 4.5, but over the past 10 years, I've been able to work collaboratively with some of my colleagues as well as Pastor Harris and many others in the room and really just see the commitment, right? It's so refreshing to see consistency, to see commitment, and to see people standing on their word and really believing in the community, true and true. And so we think about holistic partnership. We think about open and honest communication. We believe in laying it all out and having the difficult conversations. But it really, really has opened our eyes when you brought the faith leaders from Natal and had the training with them. It was really exciting to see that come to fruition based on what you shared, your vision after having your visit there. And so, again, just really wanting to continue the work, evolve in the spaces and look at, the history of the organization, but also the richness of the community and thinking about innovative ways that our health equity work can continue, but not without the voice of the community. Thinking about bringing the Community Advisory Council closer to the work so that they can continue to advise and kind of help charter some of the forward movement, the things that we want to do around trauma resiliency, violence prevention, improving the mental health in the community, as well as, of course, chronic disease, right? If we are not healthy, we cannot live good, fruitful lives. And I know that you all believe in that here, and we want to be a good partner in that. And so from an education standpoint, from a services standpoint, from a job standpoint, we know that housing and workforce development is also very important. So we're hiring from the community, but we're also always thinking about training opportunities and education opportunities. So those are just the things that have mattered so much in watching this partnership and the relationships grow with all of you all as well.
It has been amazing, you all, and I can tell you of a surety that they have shown significant commitment to our community. Now we call it Dr. G, all right? So listen, if you had a wish list for the community, what would be some of the things on that wish list?
I think one of the things on the wish list I'm living right now, which is I am on stage with 3 major health institutions. That's not an easy thing to get health institutions or big institutions to work together, to commit jointly to a place. And it's beautiful to see all of these people here working together, taking their best strength, their greatest strength, and putting it to a single issue, a single problem, a single challenge, a single opportunity. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. And I think that's exactly how it needs to be done, is you get all of the people that can help shape a place, shape an experience, shape a program, get them to the table together, bringing their best self. So we're doing this with health and jobs. Wow. What's next? Housing, affordable housing in this community. More jobs, workforce development that people don't have to leave for, business ownership, home ownership. When I think about how are we actually helping people set up for generations to come, it's an ownership. So how are we taking this, what's happening right here on this stage, and harnessing it for any issue? But I think it's that. It's housing, it's jobs, it's ownership, and that this community belongs to this community, and how do we make sure that that is what happens forever?
Let me tell y'all something, power. That's what I call power. Y'all ought to be going crazy for that. Phil, push me a little bit. Let me just say this. I'm excited. For those of y'all that don't know, many of you already know, there's a special day. Christian, I'm ready. There's a special day that's getting ready to come on Juneteenth. First of all, I'm proud to announce that Juneteenth is a national holiday in Illinois. Y'all ought to be going crazy for that. And something all of us have been working toward is finally getting ready to happen on Juneteenth. We are officially cutting the ribbon of the Turn Center. Y'all ought to be going crazy. Christian, can I have my video? I want y'all to see what's getting ready to happen. We're going to take over Carter G. Woodson School, and we're going to cut the ribbon on Juneteenth from 12 o'clock until 2 o'clock. And listen, this has been a long time coming. It's right across the street from Bright Star Church, right there at 45th and Evans. I actually went to this school. One side of the school has about 350 students in there learning right now as we speak. And right next door, it's now the former University of Chicago Charter School. It's been empty for a while, and now Bright Star Community Development Corporation, in partnership with Bright Star Community Outreach, we're partnering, and on Juneteenth from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock, we're going to be cutting the ribbon on the temporary Turn Center. Come on, y'all. I am excited, and this facility, 68,000 square feet of opportunity for not just Bright Star Community Outreach, but also other community-based organizations that are partnering with us will be able to be housed in this facility, dealing with social determinants of health. Don't I sound smart, y'all? Dealing with all kind of health issues, also dealing with behavioral health issues, mental health, trauma counseling, peace circles, and restorative justice. And then the other side of it is making sure that we bring bring workforce development skills, classes, and opportunities along with financial literacy happening in this facility. I need all of you all. Make sure you go to our website, brightstarcommunityoutreach.com. Go to the drop-down link that is available there that talks about the Juneteenth ribbon cutting. We need all of you all to be there. Listen, it's going to be, let me tell you, we're going to have some DJs out there, house music out there. Okay, for Mother Hall, Bobby Blue Bland, Roberta Flack. We're going to have Aretha Franklin playing. It's going to be a good time all day long. Marvin Gaye. Okay, younger people, Beyonce, Jay-Z. We playing it all. Okay, look at the church people. Shirley Caesar. Come on, Albertina Walker. Ty Tribbett. It's going to be a great day, a great party. 12 o'clock, I need all of you all to be there. And I'm going to ask one of our board members have closing words, thanking these institutions for supporting this work. Dr. Ty Hughes, would you have closing words on behalf of Bright Star Community Outreach, the CDC, and the churches for these institutions that have come in to help us?
Of course. We want to thank you guys for the collaboration. This community deserves more, and so we're glad that you've joined forces to ensure that this community gets all that it needs. So thank you.
Y'all clap it up one more time. Power. As we play this music, I'm going to bring Joni and John back up. But would y'all please thank Walida, Posh, Kim, Josh, Dr. Ty. Give it up for the United Way, Northwestern. Come on. UIC Health and University of Chicago. Make some noise, Power, for all of our friends. Thank y'all. Thank you.
Come on, let's put our hands together one more time.
Yeah.
You're receiving now some bingo cards. We're going to do another bingo. All right, who's ready for our next bingo? All right, while the music is playing, they're bringing you another card. Mother Hall, we're going to give you 2 cards, all right? All right. Make sure you get a card. Let's put our hands together for our CEO.
Yes,
Pastor
sir.
Harris.
Pastor Harris.
He growing, ain't he? He's growing. I tell you, I'm teaching him a whole lot around here, though.
And while we're waiting, let me just have you clap it up for Northwestern Medicine. University of Chicago Medicine. Come on. You know that wing you just ate, right? They helped us to get this done. United Way. Come on, Metro, put your hands together. And for our the baddest nurse in Bright Star St. James, Dr. Ty Hughes Dillard. Thank you to all our guests. Let's clap it up and make them feel real good about being here. Some people don't know we got the juice. We got the juice. Who got the juice in here? And when you come to Bronzeville, you can expect to be loved and appreciated. That's how we do it. Right now, we're getting ready to start our bingo. We're asking them to come this way. Are y'all ready for another bingo game? Who's ready to get some more money up in here? Let me see. I think that table over there got it. Come on. You two, y'all got the winning numbers? Who got the winning numbers? Let me see. We about to find out. Okay, everybody. Pastor Harris.
I want to do something real quick. Listen, when you have folks that help you to do all of this great work, you got to really go crazy. And I had to do it this way, Posh, because the only way I would do it is the way that I'm doing it. Switch that camera on me for me real quick. Do it fast. That fella that's trying to fix something, his name is Joe Stovall. It's his birthday. We got him. Yo, come on, make some noise for Joe Stovall. Look, he trying to run. I told them block him in there. Forgive me, Lord. I had to lie to get him out the booth to tell him something wrong in the sound booth. So he came running up there to try to fix it because that's the only way we was going to get him on camera. He is one of my sons, truly, our drummer, sound man. Everything I do, Joe Stovall does. Listen, I couldn't do everything I do without that fella. Would y'all go crazy for Joe Stovall? Got him!
Okay, let's get ready for power. And just a refresher, the boxes with the X in them on your cards are number 9s. So if it's a 2 in a box, that's 29. If it's just a box, that's number 9. My printer did not want to print 9s out today. So we're going to go ahead with our first join.
Okay. First is P10.
P10.
W32. W32. O22. O22. E54. E54. W39. W39. R70. R70. O20. O20. E59. E59. P15. P15. P3. P3. R73. R73. W36. W36. R62. R62. W33. W33. O27. O27. E48. E48. R75. R75. E52. E52.
Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody.
E47. E47. W41. W41. E58. E58. O18.
Power! Woo! We're coming over to check your card.
And we have a winner. Can y'all do me one favor? Start waving at that camera and tell our online audience, see ya. Peace. See y'all in 2 weeks.
All right, before we go and before we get all disheveled, I would like for you to gather your